webinar series. My name is Steve French from Natural Marketing Institute. Today I'm going to talk about 20 years of sustainability. One of the things that we do here at Natural Marketing Institute is specialize in health, wellness, sustainability, and whole living. We help many clients around the globe identify opportunities, build business plans, and conduct a whole range of consumer and B2B market research. So one of the things I'd like to share with you today is surrounding sustainability, which takes into account not only environmental issues, but social issues, is what has the role of the pandemic played? And a lot of apathy and even a reversal of conviction has happened here, and consumers are definitely more engaged because of the pandemic. Almost half of US consumers are more concerned about protecting the environment. Almost half are more committed to living a sustainable lifestyle. And something that's really interesting is consumers feel a bit more in control. And that's a very important thing in today's world. And they've also become more concerned than ever about what a company is doing to lessen the impact on the environment. So that is all positive news from the pandemic, and we continue to see positive trends. If you take a look at the statement on the left, I feel more personally responsible for protecting the environment than I have in the past. You can see, again, general population, US adults, has increased from 49%, basically half of the population in 2009, to almost 2/3 of the population in 2021. Furthermore, nearly 6 in 10 are making their decisions with the effect they will have on health and sustainability. That's up from 45% in 2017. So again, we continue to see positive trends surrounding the world of sustainability. Now, what are consumers doing? Over 7 in 10 are doing a whole variety of various things, from using refillable containers to recycling, being more energy conscious, conserving water, and a whole range of other things that crosses way beyond the Vitafoods space, and even talks about lawn and garden and things like that. So it's very interesting in terms of looking at consumer behavior as they are personally taking action. Now, this whole notion of sustainability is not just a North American phenomenon. The statement here from 4 non-US countries, I would like more information on how I can protect the environment. And you can see it's much higher in China, Brazil, and India. And consumers are basically looking for more information, and so they will seek it out where it is relevant and fits into their lifestyle. Over 8 in 10 agree that something needs to be done immediately about the amount of plastic. Now, plastic is on a front of mind issue. It's definitely something that is consumers are looking at more so, even more so than global warming or nuclear war. So there's lots of things that come into play. I prefer to buy products which use paper cardboard instead of plastic. I prefer to buy food, beverage, plastic products in cans and glass instead of plastic. And I wish grocery stores would use less plastic. And those numbers are significantly high. So consumers are definitely saying, I sometimes refer to it as the perils of plastic, and something needs to be done as we look at the the ocean of plastic and all the various microparticles that are coming back, and fish are ingesting, and on and on. So consumers are definitely looking at plastic. One of the other things which is foremost in front of sustainability is the circular economy. So if we look at the circular chart on the right here, we use something, we reuse it again, we remake it, we recycle, and so on. So what consumers are looking at everything from upcycling to reusing is a big notion, and I'll get into the refillable economy as we move down some of these statistics here. 14% are aware of the term circular economy, so it's not really a consumer term. It's more of a trade term, but I think it's catching on. More and more consumers are saying, okay, you know, I sort of get what you're talking about here. I shouldn't just use something and throw it out and have it end up in a landfill. So you have almost 60% of the US population would be more likely to shop if they provided options to refill containers such as hand soap or laundry detergent or food products to cut down on plastic and waste. So this is almost like 20 or 30 years ago, not just in the US, but around the world in terms of bulk shopping and bulk items and things like that. It's just a new way to get it. There's new technology out there, so we're not you know, scooping things out of bins. It's much more safe and clean and so on than it used to be. So consumers are also looking at products that are available in refillable packaging, and there's a variety of new product launches that have just come out where consumers are going and buying very concentrated products like dish soap, and adding 80% water and 20% of the concentrate, and then using it over and over again. So we're not shipping water around all over the place. In addition, consumers' tolerance for chemicals and toxins continue to permeate their mindset. So over 7 in 10 consumers are talking about, you know, the amount of toxins added to products are going into the soil and groundwater, and they're being aware of that. And it's a whole range of different products, whether it's pouring something down the sink or using something on your lawn and garden, whatever it may be. But it's driving concern about the link between chemicals and consumer products in overall disease. And they're specifically concerned about chemicals in household cleaning products. So it's very interesting as you look at the effect that toxicity can have on anybody's brand portfolio, and that can be across any product category, foods, beverages, supplements, whatever it might be. Now, if you take a look at what's driving various products, on the left here, we look at household cleaning products. This is the growth in product drivers between 2015 and 2021. Consumers are looking for SLS-free, socially responsible, naturally derived, environmentally friendly packaging I talked about before, then recyclable packaging, certified as environmentally safe, a whole range of sustainability related topics. Same with food and beverage on the right-hand side. The whole global trend in vegetarianism and vegan eating lifestyles continues to grow. But then you get into some sustainability attributes such as compostable packaging, certified organic, fair trade certified ingredients, recyclable packaging. Those are the things that are growing the most. And companies need to recognize that, again, whether it's food and beverage or whether it's supplements or personal care, whatever it may be, uh, that the growth in the importance of these product drivers is indeed driven from the world of sustainability. Now, one of the things that we use with clients around the globe is our consumer segmentation model. This is based on 5 shades of green. So we have a group called the LOHAS consumer, which stands for Lifestyles of Health and Sustainability. They really act as the environmental steward and set the bar for the rest of the population. So they are taking products, they are the first adopters, they are less price sensitive. They are actually driving usage among the 3 middle groups, the naturalites, the drifters, and the conventionals. This allows companies to generate scale among what we refer to as the sustainable mainstream. And it's very important for targeting and communication and brand strategy and a whole variety of different elements of the marketing mix. Now, how have these segments changed over time? If you take a look at the difference between 2012 and 2021, you can see a variety of things that are happening here. One is the fact the biggest change is the reduction in the unconcerned, who have dropped from 20% of general population to almost half. The conventionals, drifters, and natural lights are about the same. And then this leading edge consumer in dark green, that LOHAS consumer, is the one that has grown the most. So we actually break that down into 2 subgroups, LOHAS leaders and LOHAS followers. And again, it allows companies to focus in, target, and identify, because not all consumers are created equal. And they're adopting more environmentally friendly attitudes, which causes them to shift over time. One of the things we look at is a difference between belief and action. One is an attitude, the other is a behavior. So if you look at the difference between a statement, it is important for companies to not just be profitable, but also mindful. You can see that 81% of general population agrees with that statement, which is up significantly since 2009. And almost all of LOHAS consumers are agreeing with that statement. Now, in terms of action, I live a more sustainable and environmentally friendly lifestyle by buying and using more. So that is relevant to about 2/3 of the American population and 86% of LOHAS consumers. So you can see how this LOHAS consumer is basically driving the sustainability mission forward. Now, one of the other things that we talk about, and we're spending a lot of time with clients these days, reminding them that the whole notion of sustainability is not just about the environment. It also includes social issues. And so when we take a look at social issues such as equal pay or non-discrimination, gender equality, and so on, you can see that it's very relevant. 60% of America agrees that they prefer to purchase products from companies that support social issues. As you would imagine, the LOHAS consumer is much higher, and the unconcerned significantly lower. But the importance of social issues continues to permeate around the globe. Now, consumers are increasingly aligning their product values with those of a brand. And if you want to step back for a minute, sustainability is all about the alignment of consumer values, morals, ethics, beliefs with the alignment with brands or companies. So when you ask particular statements in our quantitative surveys, such as when I see a company supporting a cause I believe, that I'm more likely to buy its products, you can see that that's increased significantly from 2011 to 2021. Same with the statement, I will usually buy products whose companies are most, whose values are most like my own. That's what I mentioned before. We are aligning our pocketbooks with those companies that are actually doing something beyond just marketing. It almost goes back to things I was talking about before. They feel more in control. And it's just that personal connection that brands are trying to make, especially in the world of micro marketing and social media and everything that's driving marketing plans these days. Another thing that's very interesting is we ask consumers who should be doing more to help drive sustainability forward. So half of the population thinks corporations should be doing more to protect the environment. There's an issue though. Only 19% think corporations are currently a leader. So there's that disconnect needs to be taken care of. One of the ways that we need to avoid is this notion of greenwashing. So if you look at these three statements, almost all companies are saying they are environmentally friendly, and it's hard to know who's telling the truth. It's very high at 71%. Consumers are a little bit confused and skeptical, and so on. I feel many companies label products as green just so I will buy them. Which is not necessarily a good number there, with 2/3 of American consumers stating that. But one way we can help with the skepticism before it turns into cynicism is companies looking for proof when making a claim about being socially or environmentally responsible. And this whole notion of sustainability is really driven from the idea of transparency. And consumers just basically want to know what is in the item they are using. That can be an ingestible, such as a supplement or food or beverage. That can also be something that's topical, such as something that's put on their skin, such as lotion. And it also includes products that are around us, such as cleaning products and things like that. They really want to know what is in the products that I'm using. So what do consumers do if companies are actually following sustainable practices? They want to see how transparent consumers are on their product label. They also look for seals and certifications, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. There's quite a number of seals and certifications around the globe. Last count is over 1,000. So it again becomes a little bit confusing for consumers. But you're not just looking for certifications on environmental practices, but also on social practices such as fair trade. This whole notion of how companies are sourcing materials and ingredients has become much more relevant. They want to see that transparency on their website. And one of the things that continually comes to the top is animal welfare. And I think we've seen enough global evidence through a variety of media and social and so on of some companies that are not necessarily practicing good animal welfare. So that is important to consumers. And again, also looking on their website for codes of ethics in alignment with their mission statements. So this notion of transparency is really transcending everything. If you look at the pie chart on the left, and you specifically relate it back to COVID, this is a percentage of consumers that feel companies will become more sustainable, less sustainable, or will not change their efforts as a result of COVID. The nice part about this chart is you have about a third of consumers saying it will do more, and not many saying less. So again, the impact of the pandemic is having a positive impact on consumers really saying what is in the product that I'm currently using. Now this takes a look going back to the segmentation, and we work with a lot of clients that say, what do consumers really want to know about what we're doing? So this is a list of what consumers say they want to know about what companies are doing in terms of the sustainability space. So you can see overall that the LOHAS consumer is much higher, but they follow the same general ranking. If you go down the list, just to talk about a few, reduce the amount of trash and other waste. That's at the top of the consumers list. Use less packaging. And we know that's important. That relates back to plastic, which I was talking about before. Use more recycled content. Reduce their energy consumption. Reduce their impact on the environment overall. There's plastic again. Prevent global warming, and a variety of other things. One thing that is really interesting is talking about the biodiversity of the planet. And with the rise in regenerative agriculture, especially relevant to the world of food and beverage, consumers are basically talking about that is something that's going to continue to drive their purchase. Now, if you step back a little bit, there's only 4 things that marketers or any company is trying to do. We're trying to get consumers to try products. So that's the increased trial. We're trying to get them to repeat purchase. We're trying to get them to influence others, and we're trying to make them less price sensitive. So if you take a look at the growth in these statements from 2009 to 2021, you can see the dramatic increase based on the statement that knowing a company is mindful of its impact on the environment and society. It makes consumers more likely to try, that's up 25%, more likely to repeat, up 36%, more likely to influence others or talk with my family and friends, up 43%, and less concerned with price, which is up 78%, which is definitely important for some products that need a little bit of a increase on average category pricing to add the benefits of sustainability to their products. So this is a very important topic. It's something that if you take away one slide from my presentation here today, this would be it. Another thing we talked about is this whole notion of consumer behavior in terms of companies that are not practicing sustainability. So if you look at the chart, the numbers on the left, we're seeing that 40% of consumers in 2021 stopped buying a product from a company after learning they did not practice environmental responsibility. The same number, 40%, stopped buying after they learned that a company did not practice social responsibility. And those numbers, as you can see, compared back to 2015, are almost up double. So this whole notion of boycotting brands, and you can see this all over social media and so on, but need to be careful that that companies are practicing both environmental and social responsibility. So to close out with these top 6 summary points. Companies who incorporate sustainability as a fundamental part of their portfolio will be better aligned. In other words, sustainability is not a nice to have, it is now a must have. Some companies are just starting their sustainability, others are well into it, and a number of companies were actually born green. So they are just continuing it and taking it one step further. Secondly, the impact of knowing a company is mindful of how its practices affect the environment has significant influence among consumers. It's the one chart that I said, if you don't take anything else away, it promotes trial and loyalty and influence and price sensitivity. Third, understanding which corporate sustainability initiatives consumers are most interested in can help drive the level of return. So if a company is doing something that consumers don't really care about or is not relevant, the return on investment will not be as strong as aligning it with initiatives that consumers care about. Consumers want accountability. They want responsibility from those in which they do business. So it goes back to this notion of product transparency, making sure consumers have a clear view of your brand, and so on. And then we talked about the segmentation. You need to align with particular segments so you can determine how best to target, how best to message, how best to communicate, and all the other elements of the marketing mix. And finally, companies and corporations will need to re-examine their processes and offerings to have a positive impact to align with this new consumer attitude, that being sustainability. So I appreciate the opportunity to share this information with you. I would like to thank everybody at Informa and Vitafoods Europe for the opportunity to present here. I thank you very much, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or any additional needs. Have a great day.